Chapter 33. Staffing Your Business. Find something you love doing and do it. Then you will never have to work another day in your life. The success of every business can be determined by the quality and ability of the staff, because while a good staff team can be one of the greatest assets of your company, unfaithful and uncooperative workers can lead to frustration. You may start out in business on your own, which is what happens to many people at the beginning, when you do everything yourself to reduce cost and build the business. But if you really want to succeed and build something substantial, you cannot do it alone. When your business is beyond what you can handle, you need a team of faithful workers, and your relationship with them is very vital. Quality staff is a great asset that can really make things happen for your business. I have had my own fair share of the good, the bad, and the ugly, and have also been blessed by the exceptional, many of which we have been together for almost 2 decades, and that is very rare in today's world. When people ask me how I am able to keep people faithfully working with me for that long, I do have things to tell them, but the most vital secret is God. Only God knows tomorrow, and only God knows who can best help you achieve your goals and fulfill your dream. I will be sharing a lot of tips with you in this chapter, but to avoid being guilty of misinformation, I want to be upright with you and say there is a God dimension option open to you. Pray for God to send you the right people and guide you in making the right choice. 25 Wisdom from the Archives. 1. Don't employ more workers than you need. Some businesses are guilty of overemployment and overstaffing, as if the number of staff they have is what determines their business success. Don't employ staff you don't need. Only employ staff on a need basis and to fulfill specific purpose. Overstaffing will make you carry unnecessary salary burden and will even reduce the output of the staff because of overlapping functions and laziness. Remember, everybody said that anybody would do all the good things that nobody did. 2. Don't sacrifice character and competence on the altar of scarcity of labor. Don't just pick anyone because there's a scarcity of labor, because it is better not to have the staff you need and leave the position vacant than to have the wrong staff on your team and payroll. It can step you back far behind and even affect the ones you already have negatively. Character, competence, capacity, culture, faithfulness, reliability, etc. are all virtues that an employee must possess to be valuable. 3. Conduct interviews for prospective workers thoroughly and comprehensively. Don't be in a hurry to employ people. Start your hiring process early before you need them badly. Think ahead and be proactive, because if you start the process before you need them badly, you will not be under pressure to speed things up to the detriment of due diligence. Look out for the right skill and intelligence. Try to have a feel of the individual's personality. Look out for traits of submission to constituted authority and faithfulness to discharging their responsibilities. Avoid anyone with any trace of pride and arrogance. 4. A prospective worker should be given clear understanding of job description. Assumption is the lowest level of knowledge, and when adequate information and effective communication is not in place, assumptions becomes the norm and error will always occur and excesses will prevail. Agree on wages to pay. Agree on time of work. Clearly state what the individual should expect if they work faithfully and produce result. 5. Don't rely too heavily on certificates. Some certificates are becoming useless in today's world due to the quality of graduates being churned out of our universities today and the laziness and unseriousness of most youths in our world. Many have fake certificates, lobbied certificates, uncertified certificates, etc. They have the certificates, but not the capacity nor the education required to produce results in the real world. 6. Anyone that would handle money should be tested and proved. Apart from putting structures and control measures in place to prevent fraud and leakages, it is vital that you test those who will handle money with financial tests to see if they would pass. Faithfulness and integrity is very scarce in today's world, and you really want to test-proof the people that handle your finances to avoid bad experience. 7. Let them understand your business goals and objectives. To give your employees a sense of participation, it is vital you give them a clear understanding of the goals and objectives of your business. This will make you work as a team with a unified goal and make them feel valued, because no one loves being used like a machine. Taking them through an induction process and training will help sort this out. They should know where you're coming from, your history, and where you're going to, your destiny, so they can know where they fit in. 8. Give them clear direction and expectation. Misunderstanding occurs when instructions concerning what to do are not clearly expressed. Give them clear directions at all times and ensure they get your instructions clearly. Let them know your expectations from them and how you want things done. Your personal policies and principles should also be communicated to them so you can work together amicably. They must know what you like and don't like. 9. Regularly appreciate them and their importance. Many of us are naturally quick to complain, but slow to appreciate and value people when they do well. It is very important that you make it a culture to constantly appreciate and value your staff and their importance to your business. Gifts work wonders, so let it flow from time to time. Avoid rebuking staff that err before others. Avoid using abusive words or making negative remarks about them. 10. Make them work as a team. You need to establish and enable dynamic relationship among your staff so that they can work as a team. Teamwork works at all times and helps build your business and create an enabling environment for growth. Avoid undue favoritism. Demand unity among them. Anyone who sows seeds of strife and discord should be removed, no matter how valuable they are or what they do, because their attitude will cause more damage than the good they do and spread the virus. 11. Establish quality cycle. Just like the R&D, Research and Development Unit, and QC, Quality Control Unit, you need to have an inner circle, a think tank or quality cycle that you meet with regularly to brainstorm, monitor progress, proffer solution. Encourage all your staff to be a quality cycle member and suggest new ideas or strategy that can improve the enterprise. 12. Don't hire a family or friend you can't fire. Many businesses have accommodated waits in their workforce and kept them on board because they're family or friends. That is a great error you must avoid. Never hire someone you can't fire, and if you do hire a family or friend, let them know the rules of engagement and the lines they should not cross. If you permit any form of garbage from them without dealing with it, you will cause trouble for your other staff. It is better to sack them and keep them on a welfare allowance than to employ them to cause trouble, all in the bid to help them. 13. Don't hire a primacy leader to fill a supporting role or vice versa. Putting the right person in the right place is like hand in gloves and works like magic, but to misplace people is like round peg in a square hole, and it causes friction, tension, and problem for your business. A primary leader in a secondary role is like wasting potential and will cause problems. A secondary leader in a primary role is like promoting mediocrity, and it will cause problems too. Right people in the right place in the right time is very key. 14. Don't plan on changing someone after you hire them. One very vital truth you need to realize today, if you don't already know it, is everybody is trainable, but not everybody is changeable. You are not God. You can train all you can, but cannot change people except they are willing to change. Even God has not been able to change all those He created. How much more you? Do all you can to help people, but don't get stuck with dead weights. 15. Do a background check on all your staff. Always investigate before you invest, and this is true also in staffing issue. Before you give people access into your life, business, and destiny like a staff, make sure you check them out. Contact their references. Verify their home address. Verify their certificates and credentials. contact their previous employers, etc. Do your due diligence today to avoid regret tomorrow. 16. Always put attitude and character above talent or experience. After over 20 years of doing business and employing people, I can tell you clearly that talent is not enough. Experience is not enough. Certificate is not enough, etc. Characterism without character causes cataracts for your business. Faithful men can always be trained to become able men, but able men cannot always be trained to be faithful. 17. Pay good salaries. If you pay peanuts, you will hire monkeys is a popular saying in the corporate world, and it is true. Never pay below the minimum wage obtainable in your country or sector, and if you can't afford it, you may need to avoid employing the person yet. That is one of the reasons why I started with you not employing more people than you need.
Never employ people you cannot pay because you will both lose. The entire salary of your staff, including all fixed bonuses like leave allowance, pension, etc., must never be more than 30% of your income, and you need to look into that to determine how much you can pay and who you can employ. 18. Pay salaries on time. Never, never, never delay paying the salaries of your staff because they have worked for it and deserve it, except in exceptional cases, which must be clearly communicated. Delaying salary payment is a no-go area. I will advise that as a company, you have a fixed day when salaries are paid. We pay salary on the 28th of the month as a policy in my company, and it is done directly into the staff salary account. One thing my workers can forever be grateful for is that we don't owe or delay salaries. Your workers have a family, and they also have bills to pay and responsibilities to carry out. If you mess them up, it becomes a chain reaction and affect their performance and ultimately your business. 20. Respect their views and let them share in decision-making. No one owns the monopoly of wisdom, and we all learn every day. Don't ignore, look down on, or despise the views of the people around you. Drawing on their inputs and experience is a wise thing to do as a leader. If you involve them in decision-making and carry them along, they will feel belong and appreciate major policy and strategy change. 21. Don't be afraid to trust. When you have done your due diligence, learn to delegate tasks to your staff and also learn to trust them. No one can function effectively in an atmosphere of suspicion and corporate politics. If you trust them, they will know, and if you don't trust them, they will know. A relationship without trust is already dead, only awaiting burial. So avoid mistrust in your organization. Clarify area of confusion, ask questions to fully understand gray areas or flashpoints, and trust them. It is better to truly trust and be betrayed by them than to not trust and lose quality people who cannot stand your mistrust. 22. Have a constant training and personal development policies in place. We live in a changing world, and everyone needs to be a student in the school of continual development. The day you stop learning, you start dying. So put a policy in place for your workers to be trained regularly and continue to place a premium on personal development. Provide a training budget for every staff. Recommend Book of the Month for all to read and report on. Make time for one-to-one mentoring with them. Encourage them to get more qualification and professional certificates in their fields. Whatever you invest in developing them will benefit your business too. 23. Don't give responsibility without authority or vice versa. You need to make sure that you delegate responsibilities and authorities side by side in a balanced proportion. If you delegate responsibility without authority, people will feel used. If you delegate authority without responsibility, people will abuse it. As you give people responsibilities, give them authority along with it. And as their responsibility increases, so should their authority. This will encourage them to give their best and also make their job easy and avoid unnecessary bureaucracy. 24. Don't be afraid to sack people. One thing you will have to do as an employer in the course of your business is to fire people. It is not an easy or palatable thing to do, but once it becomes necessary, it has to be done. If you keep those you should sack, you will lose those you should keep. Give them warnings, assist them to change when necessary to avoid sack. Talk to them to help them see clearly, etc. For every worker you have, there is probably an average of 5 people or more that depend on them, and so when you sack them, they don't suffer alone, though they mostly don't realize that when they're messing up. Give them a long rope. Do all you can to help them, but when the big decision has to be made, don't be afraid to make it. 25. Develop a CSR policy and culture in your business. CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility, is very important for any company that wants to be relevant in today's world. As a company, you must make it a policy and a culture within your organization to be socially responsible and give back to the community where you operate and the society at large. You need the goodwill it generates and the fulfillment you get as a person and as a company for doing what is right in your generation. Look around you. There is always something you can do to make a difference. Let me end this chapter with this list just as a bonus and 5 lessons on how to treat people. 30 ways to increase your leadership effectiveness. Effectiveness and efficiency are both very important in the workplace. While one means doing things right, the other means doing the right thing. And as a leader, here are a list of how you can increase both in your life. Due to space constraint, I will only list them but will not explain them. 7 ways to attract followers. 1. Make others feel important. 2. Promote your vision. 3. Treat others as you will be treated. 4. Take responsibility for your actions and the actions of those you lead. 5. Praise in public and criticize in private. 6. See and be seen. 7. Use competition to make a striving game. 8 actions to develop your charisma. 1. Establish your objective at once. 2. Communicate what you want done. 3. Act boldly. 4. Be decisive. 5. Dominate the situation. 6. Lead by example. 7. Dump people who can't do the job. 8 actions to develop your charisma. 1. Show your commitment. 2. Look the part of your vision. 3. Dream big. 4. Keep moving towards your goal. 5. Do your homework. 6. Build a mystique. 7. Use the indirect approach. 4 ways to build leadership self-confidence. 1. Become an uncrowned leader. 2. Be an unselfish teacher and helper of others. 3. Develop your expertise. 4. Use positive imagery. 5 action steps to motivate those you lead. 1. Work on the important things first. 2. Treat others with respect. 3. Make the work interesting. 4. Always give recognition for good work. 5. Give those you lead an opportunity to develop their skills. 5 lessons about the way we treat people. First important lesson: cleaning lady. During my 2nd month of college, our professor gave us a pop quiz. I was a conscientious student and had breezed through the questions until I read the last one. What is the first name of the woman who cleans the school? Surely this was some kind of joke. I had seen the cleaning woman several times. She was tall, dark-haired, and in her 50s, but how would I know her name? I handed in my paper, leaving the last question blank. Just before class ended, one student asked if the last question would count toward our quiz grade. Absolutely, said the professor. In your careers, you will meet many people. All are significant. They deserve your attention and care, even if all you do is smile and say hello. I've never forgotten that lesson. I also learned her name was Dorothy. Second important lesson: pick up in the rain. One night at 11:30 p.m., an older African-American woman was standing on the side of an Alabama highway trying to endure a lashing rainstorm. Her car had broken down and she desperately needed a ride. Soaking wet, she decided to flag down the next car. A young white man stopped to help her, generally unheard of in those conflict-filled 1960s. The man took her to safety, helped her get assistance, and put her into a taxicab. She seemed to be in a big hurry, but wrote down his address and thanked him. 7 days went by, and a knock came to the man's door. To his surprise, a giant console-color TV was delivered to his home. A special note was attached. It read, "Thank you so much for assisting me on the highway the other night. The rain drenched not only my clothes, but also my spirit. Then you came along. Because of you, I was able to make it to my dying husband's bedside just before he passed away. God bless you for helping me and unselfishly serving others. Sincerely, Mrs. Nat King Cole." Third important lesson: always remember those who serve. In the days when an ice cream sundae cost much less, a 10-year-old boy entered a hotel coffee shop and sat at a table. A waitress put a glass of water in front of him. "How much is an ice cream sundae?" he asked. 50 cents, replied the waitress. The little boy pulled his hand out of his pocket and studied the coins in his hand. "Well, how much is a plain dish of ice cream?" he inquired. By now, more people were waiting for a table, and the waitress was growing impatient. 35 cents, she brusquely replied. The little boy again counted his coins. "I'll have the plain ice cream," he said. The waitress brought the ice cream, put the bill on the table, and walked away. The boy finished the ice cream, paid the cashier, and left. When the waitress came back, she began to cry as she wiped down the table. There, placed neatly beside the empty dish, were 2 nickels and 5 pennies. You see, he couldn't have the sundae because he had to have enough left to leave her a tip. Fourth important lesson: the obstacle in our path. In ancient times, a king had a boulder placed on a roadway. Then he hid himself and watched to see if anyone would remove the huge rock. Some of the king's wealthiest merchants and courtiers came by and simply walked around it. Many loudly blamed the king for not keeping the roads clear, but none did anything about getting the stone out of the way. Then a peasant came along carrying a load of vegetables. Upon approaching the boulder, the peasant laid down his burden and tried to move the stone to the side of the road. After much pushing and straining, he finally succeeded. After the peasant picked up his load of vegetables, he noticed a purse lying in the road where the boulder had been. The purse contained many gold coins and a note from the king, indicating that the gold was for the person who removed the boulder from the roadway. The peasant learned what many of us never understand. Every obstacle presents an opportunity to improve our condition. Fifth important lesson: giving when it counts. Many years ago, when I worked as a volunteer at a hospital, I got to know a little girl named Liz, who was suffering from a rare and serious disease. Her only chance of recovery appeared to be a blood transfusion from her 5-year-old brother, who had miraculously survived the same disease and had developed the antibodies needed to combat the illness. The doctor explained the situation to her little brother and asked the little boy if he would be willing to give his blood to his sister. I saw him hesitate for only a moment before taking a deep breath and saying, "Yes, I'll do it if it will save her." As the transfusion progressed, he lay in bed next to his sister and smiled, as we all did, seeing the color returning to her cheek. Then his face grew pale and his smile faded. He looked up at the doctor and asked with a trembling voice, "Will I start to die right away?" Being young, the little boy had misunderstood the doctor. He thought he was going to have to give his sister all of his blood in order to save her, but he had chosen to save her anyway. Let all these lessons motivate and inspire you